You wake up each morning believing that your mind belongs to you. You think your thoughts are your own, your time is your own, and your attention is your own. But that belief is the first illusion you must destroy. The truth is that your focus is a battlefield, and every force in the modern world is fighting to own it. Social media, endless notifications, impulsive habits, even your own wandering mind, all of them are predators, and you are their prey. Machiavelli would tell you this: if you cannot defend your own mind, you will be ruled by those who can. The first step to mastering focus is to understand that distraction is not an accident. It is engineered. Every second you drift into the abyss of aimless scrolling or shallow entertainment, you are feeding the ambitions of someone else. This is why most people never build anything significant. They live in the kingdom of other people's agendas. If you want to increase your focus by 200%, you must become ruthless in reclaiming your mental territory. Ruthlessness begins with discipline, but not the kind you've heard about in motivational speeches. This is not about waking up at 5 a.m. and drinking black coffee just to prove you can. Machiavellian discipline is strategic. It asks, where is my energy wasted? And how can I cut it without mercy? Start by looking at your environment. Every object, every sound, every person around you is either sharpening your mind or dulling it. Remove one distraction from your life today, and you will feel the difference immediately. But elimination is not enough. A soldier without a plan is just another target. You must channel your attention into a singular aim, so clear that nothing else can compete with it. Most people fail to focus because they are trying to hold too many priorities at once. Your brain is a blade. The more you split its edge, the duller it becomes. Pick one mission for the day, one goal that defines victory, and devote yourself entirely to it. When you finish, you will not only have accomplished something real, but you will have trained your mind to know what it means to commit fully. Understand this: focus is not a natural state. It is an unnatural one, forged in resistance. Your instincts are ancient. They evolved to scan the environment constantly, to notice every rustle, every shift, every flash of movement. In the modern world, that same instinct makes you vulnerable to every ping and pop-up. To master focus, you must override your instincts with conscious control. This means setting boundaries not just with others, but with yourself. One of Machiavelli's most powerful lessons is that appearances matter. If you wish to be taken seriously by others, you must first take yourself seriously. That means treating your time as if it were gold. Imagine someone walking into your home and stealing money from your wallet. You would react instantly. Yet when your phone steals your attention, you shrug. Both are theft, but only one is obvious. You must learn to value attention more than money, because without attention, you cannot create money, power, or anything else of value. Begin to see every moment of distraction as a debt you must repay. If you lose 10 minutes to a useless impulse, give yourself 10 minutes of deep, undistracted work in return. This creates a mental economy where you become accountable to yourself. Over time, you will start to see distraction not as harmless, but as a cost you cannot afford. Power comes from controlling what others cannot. Most people cannot control their emotions, their impulses, or their attention. If you can, you will rise above them effortlessly. Imagine a room full of people who cannot focus for more than a few seconds. In that room, the one person who can hold a thought for an hour is a king. This is the advantage you are building, not just over your own past self, but over everyone else competing in the same world. The key is to train focus like a muscle. Just as you would not expect to lift 100 kilograms on your first day in the gym, you should not expect to work in deep concentration for hours without training. Start small. Set a timer for 15 minutes and work without interruption. Then increase it to 30, then 45. Over time, you will build a mental endurance that will feel like a superpower. This is not romantic, it is mechanical. The brain adapts to whatever you consistently demand of it. Another Machiavellian truth: people respect what they cannot easily have. If your attention is always available to anyone at any time, it will be treated as cheap. But if you make it rare, if you become known as the person who is never distracted, your time will gain value. Others will approach you with more preparation, more respect, and more seriousness. You will also find that opportunities begin to shift toward you, because the world is starving for people who can think clearly for more than a moment. Do not mistake stillness for passivity. In a distracted age, stillness is an act of war. When you sit down to work without the noise of constant interruptions, you are positioning yourself to strike with precision, while everyone else is swinging blindly. This is how great thinkers, strategists, and leaders operate. They create pockets of uninterrupted time where they can see the battlefield clearly and decide their next move. But clarity requires more than just turning off notifications. You must also cleanse your mind. If your head is filled with gossip, trivial news, and endless comparisons to others, there is no space for strategic thought. Guard your mind's input as fiercely as you guard its output. Read only what sharpens you. Listen only to what informs or inspires you. Speak only what aligns with your mission. This will not make you popular, but it will make you powerful. And understand this, there will always be resistance. The world will not applaud your decision to focus. Friends may take offense when you stop replying instantly. Colleagues may misinterpret your silence as arrogance. Even your own mind will fight back with urges to check, scroll, and escape the discomfort of concentrated effort. This is the price of freedom. To own your attention is to reject the habits that enslave most people. There will be days when focus feels impossible, when every sound, every thought, every itch in your brain tries to pull you away from the task. These are the days that matter most. Anyone can work when inspiration is high. The great ones work even when it is absent. They understand that focus is not a mood, it is a decision. When you train yourself to choose focus in the face of discomfort, you are not just building productivity, you are building character. And in the Machiavellian sense, character is destiny. The disciplined, focused person will always outlast the impulsive, scattered one, no matter how talented the latter may be. The mind you control today will create the life you live tomorrow. That is the law. The path to doubling your focus is not just paved with discipline, it is fortified with strategy. Machiavelli knew that even the most disciplined ruler would fall if he did not understand the terrain on which he fought. Your terrain is your mental environment, and every inch of it must be controlled. You must become both the ruler and the architect of your attention. Think of your day as a fortress. Every hour is a wall, every minute a stone. If you allow holes to remain, distractions will invade with ease. How do you fortify this fortress? You begin by knowing exactly what you will defend and when. Structure your day with intention. The morning is the sharpest blade you own. Protect it. Do not give it away to the noise of others before you have claimed it for your own work. Before the world can pour its chaos into you, fill yourself with purpose. Many people wake up and open their phones before they open their eyes fully. This is like inviting an enemy into your castle before you've even put on your armor. You must create a morning ritual that centers your mind, not scatters it, whether it's silence, writing, exercise, or study. The first hour must be yours entirely. Machiavelli would say, "Whoever owns the morning owns the day." But even a well-defended morning will crumble if you let your guard down later. Most people have no strategy for the afternoon slump, the moment when energy dips and focus fades. This is when the mind becomes desperate for stimulation, reaching for the nearest distraction. Here is where you must employ countermeasures. Keep your hardest work for when your mind is sharpest, and save your mechanical, low-energy tasks for when it is not. By aligning the right type of work with the right mental state, you create a rhythm that sustains you rather than drains you. You must also understand that energy is the fuel of focus. Without it, all the discipline in the world collapses. This means caring for your body is not optional. It is a strategic necessity. Poor sleep, bad diet, and lack of movement are not small mistakes. They are acts of sabotage against your own empire. Every hour of deep, high-quality work you lose to fatigue is an hour your rivals gain over you. Protect your physical health as if it were a crown jewel, because in the war for attention, it is. The greatest enemies of focus are not always obvious. Sometimes they disguise themselves as productivity. Endless to-do lists, constant urgent emails, and unnecessary meetings can devour your day. without ever giving you the satisfaction of real progress. This is the trap of busyness. Machiavelli would warn you that a prince who confuses activity for achievement will be overthrown not by his enemies, but by his own inefficiency. You must learn to separate what is essential from what is merely distracting you in a different costume. Here is a principle. One vital task completed is worth more than 10 trivial tasks checked off. Each morning, decide on your single most important goal and treat it as non-negotiable. Everything else is secondary. If that task is done, the day is a victory regardless of what remains. This sharpens your aim and prevents your attention from being scattered across too many targets. Your tools matter too. Just as a strategist would not go into battle with a dull sword, you cannot expect to focus if your tools are clumsy or distracting. Organize your workspace so that everything you need is within reach and everything irrelevant is out of sight. This is not just about cleanliness. It's about removing friction so your mind can flow without interruption. And yet, tools alone will not save you if your mind is untrained. The modern mind is addicted to novelty, and novelty is the enemy of deep focus. You must learn to resist the urge to constantly seek something new. This is where patience becomes a weapon. Work through the discomfort of boredom until it transforms into clarity. Most people never reach this stage because they flee at the first sign of mental resistance. They do not realize that the richest rewards of focus lie just beyond that barrier. To endure that barrier, you must have a reason strong enough to anchor you. Focus without purpose is fragile. Why are you trying to sharpen your mind? What will you do with the hours you reclaim? Machiavelli would tell you that power without a goal is wasted. And the same is true for attention. Define what your focus will build, whether it is wealth, mastery, freedom, or legacy. Let that vision be the fire that keeps you steady when your mind begins to wander. You must also be willing to use the world's distractions against it. While others drown in noise, you can study in silence. While others scroll, you can plan. While others gossip, you can act. This is how you create an advantage that compounds over time. Each focused hour is not just an hour gained. It is an hour multiplied by the chaos you avoided. Imagine the difference after 1 year. While your rivals have wasted hundreds of hours on nothing, you have built a foundation they cannot see until it is too late. And do not underestimate the importance of secrecy. If you announce every goal, every plan, and every move, you invite interference. Machiavelli understood the value of keeping intentions hidden until the moment of execution. The same is true with focus. Work quietly, let your results speak, and watch how the world grows curious about your absence from its distractions. You must be prepared for the resistance that comes not from strangers, but from those closest to you. When you begin to focus deeply, you will no longer be available for every conversation, every outing, every trivial request. Some will take offense. They will accuse you of arrogance or selfishness. This is the price of building something greater than the average life. You must choose between pleasing everyone and mastering yourself. You cannot have both. Do not think this discipline will make your life smaller. In truth, it will make it larger, because you will replace the shallow quantity of scattered moments with the deep quality of meaningful ones. You will read books fully instead of skimming headlines. You will work in hours that feel like days of progress. You will enjoy conversations without the phantom pull of your phone. This is not just productivity, it is liberation. Still, even the most disciplined mind must rest. But rest is not the same as distraction. True rest is deliberate and restorative, not mindless consumption. Sleep deeply, spend. You must come to see focus not as a tool, but as a weapon. A tool can be lent, borrowed, or misplaced. A weapon is guarded, sharpened, and carried with a sense of gravity. If you treat your attention as casually as a pen you leave on the table, it will be taken from you again and again. But if you guard it like a blade, people will think twice before attempting to steal it. The modern world rewards speed, but it bows to depth. Anyone can skim 100 articles in an hour. Few can understand one deeply enough to turn it into action. The ability to go deep, to drill past the surface where everyone else stops, is what makes your work unforgettable. Machiavelli understood that most men are content with appearances. Few care to look beneath them. This is why the one who sees beneath gains power over those who do not. The most dangerous distraction is not your phone, not the internet, and not the people around you. It is the constant whisper of something else. That small voice that says, maybe you should check this. Maybe you should switch tasks. Maybe you should start something new instead. That voice is your enemy in disguise. It wears the mask of curiosity, but in reality, it is impatience. It fears the slow burn of mastery. When you hear it, do not obey. Anchor yourself to the present task as if nothing else exists. You must also learn the Machiavellian art of timing. Focus is not just about how much you work, but when you strike. There are hours in the day when your mind is sharp and hours when it is dull. Study yourself until you know these rhythms. Guard your sharpest hours like sacred ground. Do your most demanding work then, and leave the lesser tasks for when your energy wanes. Most people scatter their best hours on trivialities, and then wonder why they produce nothing of substance. Be wary of people who do not value your focus. They will constantly pull you into their urgency, their noise, their chaos. They will try to make their crisis your crisis. But Machiavelli would warn you, if you serve everyone's needs, you serve no mission at all. You must have the courage to say no, not politely, not apologetically, but with the unshakable certainty that your time is worth protecting. There is a temptation to believe that once you fix your focus, the work will feel easy. It will not. The battle never ends. Even the most disciplined minds are tempted daily. The difference is that they expect it. They meet temptation like a soldier meets an ambush, without surprise, without panic, and with a plan. That plan must include recovery. Focus without rest is a candle burning at both ends. You must deliberately step away from your work to sharpen your return, not with mindless distraction, but with renewal. Walks in silence, deliberate breathing, meaningful conversations, deep sleep. A dull mind is easily distracted. A rested mind is a fortress. Above all, remember this: focus is not an act you perform. It is an identity you adopt. You are either the kind of person who can be bought for the price of a notification, or you are the kind of person who cannot be moved, except by your own will. The world will treat you according to the identity you choose. When you claim the identity of a focused person, every action either confirms or betrays it. If you allow yourself to drift aimlessly for an hour, you have weakened the story you tell yourself. If you hold the line despite discomfort, you have strengthened it over months and years. These moments shape your destiny. Machiavelli would tell you that power is rarely taken, it is surrendered, and attention is the first surrender. The man who gives his attention away freely will one day find he has nothing left to give. The man who guards it, sharpens it, and directs it with precision will find that everything he desires, wealth, influence, legacy, flows toward him naturally.